Mark Trible of the Courier Post as we continue with our Courier Post takeover. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Sully. How you doing, man?
Yeah, the boys in the press might be getting a little jealous today. Giving the Courier Post some love.
Well, it's good to be on. I mean, it's tough to follow Kevin Minnick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man, that's a tough act to follow, McGarry and Minnick. So, yeah, I hope you're on your A game today.
Dealing with Kevin day in, day out, I can tell you, it's always a tough act to follow. But at playoff time, you got to bring your best game no matter what, right?
Sure, man. Let's talk some high school softball. Kind of a shocker in South Jersey Group 3. Top-seeded Cumberland goes down. Let's break down that section a little bit right off the bat. Really interesting 8-9 game as you have Delsey, the 8 seed, going up against ACIT. Kind of one of those up-and-coming schools the last couple of years. They've got a pretty good lineup. All underclassmen as they don't have any seniors on that roster. Real good pitcher. Mm-hmm. And you also have Mainland Ocean City in a 5-12 game, kind of a rivalry game. So tell us a little bit more about South Jersey Group 3 and what you expect out of there. Some pretty good top seeds also with Pinelands and Lacey.
Well, that bracket, no doubt. Just looking at the four South Jersey brackets, that one had a prohibitive favorite. I don't even think in Group 2 with West Deptford, I don't think that they were. I mean, they're definitely the favorite in Group 2, but Sterling can hang with them. Cumberland was out and out, odds on. I was stunned last night when I heard that they lost, but now what it does is really, if you look at it, there's no one who is grabbing control of this. The other thing is Thursday, Pinelands played Deptford in the 2-15, and they won 4-3. So, I mean, the 2 seed won by 1. The 1 seed lost. ACIT and Delsey, it should be tight. Delsey finds a way to get it done. I mean, whether it's football, obviously wrestling, it seems like in any sport, when it comes playoff time, Delsey's the team that figures out a way to get it done. And I was kind of hoping, we'd see them against Cumberland for the third time, and maybe Cumberland was too. Maybe they looked past West. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely wide open there, Sully. There's the other teams I would look at, honestly. I mean, Gammy's dangerous. You got, they lost to EHT by 1 yesterday. You got Triton, GCIT, both teams on the rise. I don't know that there is a favorite here, but I like Seneca as the 4, and it's tough to ever bet against Delsey as the 8. If they can get by that ACIT team, which, you said they're young, there's still girls left over from Delsey's run last year. They filled the spot at pitcher that was left from Julia Volantad graduating. So if Delsey can get out of that, I do like them. But Ocean City Mainland, I would expect the Mustangs to push through on that. But yeah, definitely a lot of attention your way on Group 3.
Tell us a little bit more about Cherry Hill West. We saw a couple of years ago in South Jersey Group 4, Atlantic City came in as a 16 seed and advanced all the way to the championship game. When you have the right kind of pitching, that kind of thing can happen a lot more so in softball than in baseball. Are they a team that can keep this thing going?
Well, pitching certainly has something to do with it, but at the same time, my revelation on this last night is, and carrying over today, is that you look at who they play all year. The Olympic Conference American Division is, in my estimation, pound for pound, the toughest in South Jersey. I don't even think it's necessarily close. And you're playing Washington Township, Eastern, Cherokee. I mean, it's murderer's row when you look at their schedule. And yeah, they won 7 or 8 games. It's not good, but you play those teams, and then you play a team who, what does Cumberland do if they're in that division? They don't go 16-3. I can tell you that. I mean, they put up a nice record, but they don't go 16-3. So I think if you could survive that wear and tear, and traditionally a team like West would be a Group 4 school. Really, the only reason that they probably made it as a 16 seed with their record is power points accumulated off playing division games. So, I mean, they're battle tested, man. They're not going to play anybody in Group 3, and this is not meant as any offense to anybody who's in Group 3, but they're not going to play anybody in South Jersey Group 3 who's any tougher than who they played every day in the regular season. It's just so, they're dangerous. They are absolutely dangerous. Their record's a little bit deceiving.
Mark, tell us a little bit about South Jersey Group 4. Egg Harbor Township comes in off an undefeated regular season as the top seed, and they really have all phases of the game working for them. They have two really top-quality pitchers, a four-year starter, a catcher, and Kay Corte. Some great power throughout the lineup. In the middle of the lineup, girls that can get on base. In the top and bottom of the lineup, really good defense. What's going to stop them from taking home the championship this year?
Well, Sully, now you're speaking my language because as I wrote for today's paper, you were talking about brackets of death. This is it, man. EHT's undefeated. That's true. To play devil's advocate, they beat Millville by 1 run twice. One of those was on a controversial call, or a controversial call impacted the game. And then Millville's only other loss was to Eastern, the 2 seed. They're the team I look at that could come out of there as the 3 seed champion. But who's going to stop EHT? I don't know necessarily that anybody's going to figuratively stand in their path. But when you look at this bracket, I can name a handful of teams. I mean, Shawnee and Vineland are going to play. If Shawnee should get past Vineland and play EHT in the second round, that's not an easy out, the way Shawnee's playing. Kingsway's the 5 seed. That's not an easy out. They were runner-up last year, and they brought back a lot. RV can beat anybody. Clearview's got maybe the best player in the bracket in third baseman Elena Hansen. Millville, the 3. Cherokee swept Township this year. And then Washington Township as the 7th seed, and Eastern as the 2. And Eastern's won 20 games in a row. So who's going to win it? I don't know. I mean, this really is – I hate cliches and I hate giving credence to them, but when you got coaches saying, well, it's whoever plays best on that day when it comes to playoff time, that might be true in some cases. But in this bracket, after the first round, man, it's a crapshoot. If EHT loses in the second round, I won't be surprised. If they win it, I won't be surprised. There's a handful of teams that this is really where it gets fun, because without prohibitive favorites in terms of if you match up the schedules, and we talked about the Olympic American as a no offense to the Cape, but it's just a different animal. So you look at it and you kind of think it's anybody's ball game, and that's why it's fun this time of year. Last year we come in, I think Washington Township, had one loss. Kind of figured they'd win it, and they did. They went all the way to the state championship. This year, like I said, all credit to EHT, Mary Dunlap and her kids. But we'll see. I won't be surprised if they lose. I won't be surprised if they win.
Talking with Mark Trible, the Courier Post, breaking down some softball brackets here as the playoffs have already begun in a couple different brackets. Mark, couple different teams I got my eye on. South Jersey Group 2, Buna, could be a team to watch out for. And in South Jersey Group 1, Haddon Heights is one of those teams that tends to find a way to win come playoff time. Who do you have your eye on in some of these brackets, non-public, South Jersey Group 1 and Group 2, real quick? Who should we be looking out for to maybe jump up and surprise somebody?
Well, I think in Group 2, the team I like, not necessarily that I like them to win it, but a team that I'd watch out for is actually on the side of the bracket with the number 1 seed. So West Defford's the 1 a couple weeks ago. They've only lost once now to RV in the Hamilton tournament. But a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, they beat Overbrook by 2-0. They're familiar. Overbrook has shown the ability to hit the ball. They're the 5 seed. On any given day, if they play their best and West Defford has an off day, I think it's possible. Buna sees Sterling in the second round. Buna eliminated Sterling last year. It feels like Buna plays Sterling every year in the playoffs. Sterling brings everyone back. I don't think Buna gets past the second round. In Group 1, it looks like a collision course between Pennsville, the top seed, and Gloucester, the number 2 seed. But I like what you're saying about Haddon Heights. The other team is Gateway at the 3. Other than that, I saw Haddon Township yesterday as they beat Maple Shade in the first round, and they came in the 7th seed. I really thought with their pitcher, Julie Neal, they could possibly make some noise. They didn't impress me yesterday. Maybe it was an off day, but they got to go to Gloucester. And for a team that I kind of pegged as a dark horse, would have liked to see them play a little bit better if you're going to go to Gloucester next. Assuming Gloucester gets by Pittman, which, after Cumberland yesterday, who knows? But I think it's going to be Gloucester and Pennsville when the dust clears in one. I don't think there's going to be too much parity.
Good stuff, Mark. We're up against break. Got to let you go. We'll check in with you next week and update everybody on what's going on with South Jersey softball. Thanks, bud.
You got it, Sully. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
That was Mark Trible of the Courier Post giving us some breakdown on some high school softball.